Welcome to the Livfiit Listens podcast, a safe space of growth, personal development, and overall wellness with your host, Olivia Catania. Diving into the realms of all things health, conscious living, mental expansion, and much more, this podcast is designed to help you evolve into your best self and live fit. Let's get into the show. Hello, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Livfiit Listens podcast. I'm happy you guys are here. I hope your week has started off on the good note so far, even though it's still early. Today, I'm feeling really grateful to see my 23rd year. I recently just turned 23, and I'm just happy to be alive, still be here, still be in the game. I know it's a privilege. Not everyone always makes it this far in life, so I'm just feeling thankful to see another year, live more life, have more experience, feel more feelings, see more things, etc., etc. And also to be a freaking woman. So today we're going to be talking all about how to cultivate feminine energy. Now, this was requested underneath on YouTube from another podcast. Actually, no, I think it was just from another vlog. Someone commented underneath it. And ironically, it was requested before you guys know the whole situation that's happening in the world right now. And I was intending to do it, and then now I feel like is an even more perfect time. But so here we are. On that note, also, if you guys ever have any requests, please definitely leave them down below. Whether it being on YouTube in the comment section is probably the best place, honestly, or DM me on Instagram or anything like that. But so let's just get into it. So here's something about me that honestly, when I was outlining the show and I was reiterating this to myself and thinking about past memories and stuff, I was like, I can't believe I truly genuinely thought this. So I used to genuinely dislike being a girl. It was kind of a joke in my family, but I used to say, oh, I wish I was a boy. I wish I was a boy, because I genuinely thought life would be easier if I was male, because that's what I learned growing up. And let me clarify, it's not like I was questioning, that I genuinely wanted to be in a boy's body or anything like that. It was just genuinely I learned that it was more socially acceptable. It seemed to be more advantageous if you were a male to me. And so I was I thought that I was doing something wrong. Something was wrong with me because I was a girl, or I was at a disadvantage because I was a girl. And I know it sounds so crazy. It sounds so crazy for me to even say out loud now that I just completely undervalued myself as a woman. I was taught that women are psycho, we're emotional creatures who always kind of miss the mark a little bit on life. We're always kind of off. Men are, it's kind of think of it of this way, men are always the ones on the inside joke and women are always a little bit what? I don't get it. Always kind of ruining the moment, which is obviously crazy. And I still I feel weird even saying that out loud, but it really is just true. I completely undervalued what it meant to be a woman, and I never learned growing up the power and the beauty that comes with being a woman. And also another disclaimer before we get any further, this is not gender specific either. I'm just talking about the energies, right? Feminine energy versus masculine energy. You can be whatever gender you feel to identify as. It's more so this energy that you're embodying. It's more so that polarity of life that I talk about. It's the same thing that comes with the principles of energy, and hence the feminine and masculine energy. But so honestly, continuing this story, then losing my period, it actually is what put so much in perspective for me, and it genuinely taught me through a tangible lesson to fully experience how powerful and magnificent it is to be a female. It's kind of you don't know what you have until it's gone. And I kind of vividly remember this, and especially with something as your period, it's kind of that's always something girls complain about. And then as soon as it was gone from me and I didn't have a functioning period, if this seems completely out of the blue, you can look back at old YouTube vlogs. It was essentially out of health situation. I lost my period for about 8 months and I just stopped menstruating. And once I learned what it actually was, and that my body was kind of low key shutting down the reproductive system, it didn't feel safe to be able to conceive and have a baby, I was wait a second. I vividly remember I was I feel so stripped of who I am. And it really did put so much in perspective for me. And that was honestly the moment where I have chills right now. That was honestly the moment when I was it is freaking insane to be a woman. It is amazing to be a woman. And it's crazy that like we truly create life within us. We manifest life in the physical form in us. Like that I don't think will ever not blow my mind. And again, going through that whole period spiel, like, is what really reiterated that to me. I was like, wait a minute, no, like, you're having this function to be able to have a baby. You are able to create a baby within you by being a female. Like, I don't even know how to explain it, but like, just once that process was stripped away from me, I was like, wait, hell no. Like, I want this back. Like, I want to harness me and my femininity and my feminine energy. This is also really random quick story time, but I was watching a weird like at home birth videos, and regardless of your religion, you guys know I'm not like super strict on what to believe, right? But someone commented underneath this video that literally made me birth. I was already crying because I think just birth and just everything and like creating a baby is so beautiful. But someone commented underneath and they said, women are God's portals to bring his soul's earth side. Tears. That was the most beautiful thing I've ever read in my entire life. And it is so freaking true. It's so amazing. And we literally are like pure magic. We are magic. Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent, but like it literally just blows my mind. And like the fact that we have so much life force within us that we're able to give it and share it with another being as they grow and develop within us. Like, it's insane. Like, we have so much in us we are willing to give to create a whole nother human within us. We truly run the world, and I think that's why so many emotionally wounded men are power hungry, because their ego knows it. Kidding, but just saying. So all right, now let me give you a little bit of debriefing, because in order to know feminine energy, you need to know masculine energy, right? We need that contrast, that polarity to give life to one another. So there is a difference, and just a disclaimer, like, I'm not an expert, but this is just my knowledge from my own research and what I've learned over the years. So our masculine energy is more of that rigid, okay, it's more so the work, the routine, protection, practicality, being logical, focused, goal-driven, action kind of, or like the giver, more so cause and effect, the doing. Okay, that's more so like the mind. The feminine energy is the one that's kind of embodying more creativity, more flow, that's more nurturing, it's emotional, vulnerable, it's more intuitive, it's more so in the mode of receiving, right? The receiving frequency, in the sense of just simply being as opposed to doing in the masculinity energy, more so synchronicity as opposed to the cause and effect. We have more sensitivity, ease, and allowance more so in the sense of like surrender, right? Like not trying to force anything, not trying to like, put pressure and force to make things work. It's in the flow, it's in the surrender state. It just allows what is meant to be to be. That is more so your heart as opposed to your mind in the masculine energy. So as you can tell, they're very different, but they perfectly complement each other. They're honestly quite literally opposites, but that's what makes them amazing, is that they perfectly complement one another. So as you can tell, there's a big difference, and so that's why it's really important to do what you can to learn about each one, to know kind of which one you are embodying. So something that I personally also wasn't aware of for a long time, I thought, like, since I was technically female by birth and what I identify as, that I just have feminine energy within me. But like I said, that these aren't gender specific or anything like that. We actually both carry both of those energies within us, regardless of our gender, regardless of what we identify as. We both carry masculine and feminine energy within us. And it's honestly represented. You guys know I love the freaking yin yang symbol. It's represented in the yin yang symbol as well. So the yin part, or the white, is representing the femininity, and the black is the masculine, or like the yang part of the symbol. And like I always say, there's a little bit of the black and the white, and there's some white in the black. So there's kind of the perfect balance between the two that's being embodied in the seamless whole. And there's also a little bit of each on either side. And so it's about learning how to harness both and allowing both to properly shine through in the right doses that are the perfect balance for you. So I think honestly, a little bit of a tangent, but some of the healthiest relationships, romantic relationships, and even just normal friendships, but mostly romantic relationships, the healthiest ones are the ones that have been able to find the balance between those energies within themselves and within the dynamic between the two of them. And I think it really shows through of the unity and the harmony that shows up in that relationship when they're able to balance between those two things. So now that we kind of have a little bit of idea of what actual feminine energy actually is, and especially in comparison to masculine energy, because like I said, we're needing both to give life to one another. So now, in what ways can we actually harness and maximize our feminine energy? So here are some things that I personally do, or just some ideas that I have for you guys that are known to help you embody more of your feminine energy. So the first thing is to just let yourself play. Get out of your routine, get out of your strict schedule, get out of your rigidity, get out of work mode, right? So the feminine energy, like I said, is more so all about kind of flow, creativity, and play. Honestly, like that's a very principle of feminine energy, like, because usually that's left for the masculine energy for kind of the pursuit, the work, the structure, right? So doing what you can to kind of remembering to distance yourself from the workflow at times to get into your own creativity flow and more of your abstract nature, if you will, is going to be super powerful to awakening that feminine energy within you. And I know it sounds contradictory because I know there's a lot of those girl bosses who are like, I don't want to stop, you know what I mean? Like, don't tell me to stop working, like, just so I can embody more feminine energy. Like, I think it's feminine and powerful when you're working towards your goals. Sister, don't get me wrong. I'm the exact same way, like, and I completely agree. And I think that's totally valid. But remember what I said, that also part of the feminine energy is being in receiving mode, right? So the masculine is kind of the work, the pursuit, the action steps. And then the feminine energy is, what did I say? The receiving mode. And so that's why, like I said, there needs to be that balance of feminine and masculine energies, because when you're doing all those actions to, you know, put in the work to be, and then be able to reap your reward and your benefits, that's where you need to be in your feminine energy mode to reap those benefits. Like I'm saying, that's when you're in that receiving state, is when you're in your feminine energy. And so sometimes we think that, you know, I guess, you know, the saying sometimes less is more. That's kind of the thing that I've learned with my feminine energy. It's like, you don't always need to work so hard and be pushing and pushing and pushing. Sometimes it's about stepping back and letting kind of, you know, letting the fruit of the seeds you plant grow, right? Or what's the saying? Harvesting the fruit of the you know, what is the thing? Basically, just, you know what I'm trying to say, harvesting the seeds or the fruit or whatever from the seeds you planted previously. And I was just so rigid and stuck in my routines for so freaking long, but there's so much power into stepping into that receiving mode, especially when you're really trying to get your manifestations to come through, like I'm saying. Second thing, dance. I love doing this. I like to dance anyways, but this I really feel like just super in my feminine energy when I'm dancing. Move your hips, let that creative movement come through. And again, it really is like such a powerful thing again as well. So I put in any type of music, anything that makes me dance, that makes me feel good, move around. Again, let my energy be flowing, moving. That in and of itself is letting that feminine energy express itself and come into movement. It's kind of like I picture it as like kind of when you're really tapped into one or another, the other one is kind of dormant, kind of like you gotta, you know what I mean? So then like if your feminine energy is very dormant, you kind of got to stir the pot a little bit, stir the soup, dance, you know what I mean? To kind of awaken that feminine energy again and kind of awaken that within you. And next thing is honestly, anything that your creativity comes to life with. And my answer for this is going to be very different than what you guys maybe choose to pursue, but just anything that allows your creativity to flow, that allows you to express yourself without too much, you know, thought or like technical, logical expression, like whatever allows your heart and your emotions and kind of the intangible to be expressed, right? So this could be anything from like painting, drawing, singing, pottery, coloring a coloring book, literally anything that allows you to tap into your creativity and your artistic nature, even if you don't feel like you're an artistic person, will definitely help this femininity be brought to life. For me, I'm not really a big painter, even though I really wish I was. I'm not very good at drawing or things like that, but for me, it's like designing things. That's kind of more so the creativity aspect with Livfiit. It's me choosing like how I want to take photos, how I want the framing to be, editing the picture, editing my videos, right? All of that is kind of really creative creatively driven for me at least, and I see it as a really big mode of creative expression for me. So doing that allows me to really tap into my feminine energy. Also random, I've really been called to like starting pottery. I used to do little if you guys know Palmer clay, I used to make little clay structures growing up, and I swear, bro, it's always the things that you like to do when you were a kid. That's like, it always, literally all of my passions today or interests are always things that I'm like, all things that I'm revisiting from childhood, I swear. But anyways, that's a side note. That's another thing that I'm really looking to dabble into. And next thing, tapping into your intuition and letting it guide you. So feminine energy is all about that listening, right? I said that previously. It's all about that intuitive nature. It's kind of that inner knowing with your intuition and getting quiet and letting yourself actually hear it. Like I said previously, the masculine is more of the mind, the structure. This is the facts. And the feminine is more about emotion. How do you feel? What is your heart telling you? What is that intuitive sense that you're getting? It's kind of like that sixth sense that we always say with your intuition. The feminine's intuition is so powerful and so refined and so tapped in. And it's really important to be able to harness that and kind of use that to your advantage, right? That's something that's so beautiful about a woman. It's kind of like the same thing with when you're talking about like a mother always knows. It's kind of that same thing. So doing what you can to tapping into your intuition and actually letting yourself hear it and taking action off that and letting that guide you, as opposed to like, what are the 3D facts? It's kind of taking a step back and kind of letting the unseen guide you a little bit, and the unexplainable, let that guide you in peace, and just trust and have faith in the unseen and what your feelings and what your emotions and what your heart is telling you. I think that's super, super powerful, and that's something I work on every single day. Because, and I guess in reference to kind of masculine energy, that's kind of the part of you where it's more your mind driven. This is the facts, what's practical to do, what's logical, what's explainable, what's proofable, where are the facts. And the feminine energy of just trusting and flowing and listening to the unseen is the other kind of side of that coin, which is honestly a superpower that we have in that feminine energy. So next thing is stillness and meditation and just doing what you can to get present. For me, it's just being still, breath work, and meditating. Like I'm saying, masculine energy is all about taking action. It's all about the doing. So doing what you can to kind of sit back, to find peace and calm with the present moment and with the flow and with just being. That is what will ignite that feminine energy within you. So that's a really big thing I find when I'm meditating. I find that, and not only, I just feel like regardless, like I just feel like it gives me the peace and the quiet just to tap into my femininity regardless, just because I'm quiet, right? And I can hear myself and my energy and things like that. But also doing that just allows you to get into that kind of also that receiving mode, the peaceful mode, the flow. I think it's very clear the difference between the two now. Like masculine is all about like go, go, go. What action steps are you taking? And feminine is like we're slowing down, we're getting present, we're feeling ourselves, we're just simply being. And then the next thing I have is connecting to your heart center. I love this. So I think I've touched on chakras on here. I'm not totally sure, but essentially they're just energy centers. There's 7 energy centers up from the top of your head all the way down to your root chakra. And so I personally really like to do this during meditation, or again, just in stillness when I'm being mindful and just connecting to my breath and my body and my energy. And so I personally love crystals as well. I use rose quartz. This is it's notorious for the love stone. It just helps you to open up your heart chakra, get, tapped into the frequency of love, help to have more balance and harmony in your relationships and within yourself, which is what we are looking for with kind of balancing these energies out as well. So I like to just sit with rose quartz. And the biggest thing here is to set your intention to keep an open heart space or to affirm it. For me, I'll just think about my heart space. Also putting a hand over my heart also really helps, just to kind of help guide that energy to that center to help open it up, etc. And just like I said, setting that intention and just affirming like I have an open heart space. I'm opening up my heart space. I keep an open heart. That is what's so powerful. And that's what will help connect you to your heart and kind of connect your mind to your heart a little bit, which is kind of, again, what we're wanting to balance out the energies, like I'm saying. And that feminine energy, so much of that feminine energy lives within your heart. So doing what you can to stay open and stay connected and in tune with that, is what's really going to help you stay tapped in. And the next thing is staying in touch with your emotions, right? So expressing how you feel, doing what you feel is right, listening to your heart, right? Letting your emotions guide you at times when it's appropriate. That kind of practice and getting in the habit of that is what's going to allow you to not only feel your femininity and your feminine energy, but also allow you to act from it and let it show through and kind of allow you to give that energy to others through example and through practice. So that's a big thing. I feel like especially it's notorious for that masculine energy to kind of suppress your emotions, use your mind and logic over how you're feeling and your intuition and your heart. So kind of staying away from that and tapping into your emotions, letting yourself feeling them, stop pushing them away, right? Stop going emotionally numb, stop just burying them and covering them. Actually let them surface, let yourself feel them, let yourself dissect them, let yourself read into them and say, how is this making me feel? Why is this making me feel this way? What is this telling me? And kind of let yourself go into that flow and that intuitive mode, if you will, and let yourself just feel those emotions. I don't know why we're always taught that feeling your feelings is bad or weak or, vulnerability is bad. Vulnerability is power. Vulnerability is strength. Vulnerability is respect to me. I love being vulnerable and I admire people who are able to be very vulnerable and stripped from who they are. I think vulnerability is someone who's free from ego, and I love that. And I think that's also kind of mini tangent, but like how so many people just in our overall society, right, especially also with what's going on right now in our world, it's like so many people see femininity as a weakness or something to be controlled or something that we need to be told what to do because we're too flowy on our own. We don't have enough awareness or mental capacity on our own, which is just so completely false because our power lies in just everything that we are. It's almost like so hard for me to explain it, but it's just, we don't need the rigidity to function and live a prosperous life and live a peaceful, balanced life. Like we're able to do it so much more instinctually and naturally. So it just blows my mind how women are seen as weaknesses when we quite literally are power in and of itself. Like we are that higher knowing. We are the inner knowing. Like we are so close. Not to again get spiritual or bring religion into this because I know like my spiritual content does not resonate with everyone, which is 100% okay. But for me, we are so close. Women and that feminine energy are so close to the spiritual realm. It's insane. Like I think women are the closest thing to the spiritual realm in our 3D world. Like, and not only just humans. Like I think no matter your species, like the feminine who is able to bring life into this world, like we are the closest thing from heaven to earth. I that's just like truly what I feel. But then, and I don't say that to knock masculinity or the masculine, the divine masculine or the masculine energy, because then we need them to bring us that one step closer down in touch to physical 3D reality as well. But like we're also that bridge, right? From the spiritual 5D to bringing us a little bit closer to the 3D, and then that masculine is what kind of brings us home down to the 3D physical manifestation. But anyways, side note. So last thing I have, this is going to be very different for everyone, but the last thing is like pampering and, whatever you need to do to express yourself in ways that make you feel feminine. So that could be certain skincare, that could be certain wearing certain clothes, putting your hair a certain way, maybe dabbling in makeup if that's something you resonate with. So it can be very different, and it doesn't have to be like you have to wear a dress to then feel like that's how you'll tap into your feminine energy. It's whatever that makes you feel like you're tapping into your feminine energy, anything that makes you feel feminine with your definition. So for me, that's when I do my skincare. That's when I paint my nails. I'll have random urges to like paint my nails, and I don't question it because I'm like, that's my feminine energy that's like needing more attention, that's like really wanting to come through, or like wants to be kind of highlighted at this time, wants more attention and love and care. So painting my nails, wearing a dress for me. I love sundresses. I have one on right now for this show, but wearing dresses for me always makes me feel more feminine. Doing a new hairstyle, I usually never do anything with my hair at all. I barely will brush it. So now I've been trying to brush my hair more. That's also just for hair care. That's for hygiene. No, but if I feel like doing a certain hairstyle one day, and I usually don't ever have that call, I'm going to do a hairstyle that day because again, that's my feminine energy that's like really trying to urge me, that maybe wants more attention that day or just needs more love and wants to be highlighted that day. Playing around with makeup. I went through that phase, not really for me, but again, might be something that will help you feel more feminine or embody your feminine energy more. And actually, I'm going to add one more, and this is specifically for my people with lady parts, with the uterus, and it is to be mindful of your period. And I know this is going to vary a little bit for everyone depending on if you're on birth control and things like that, which if you are, my only thing that I'm going to say is just make sure that you're actually doing research on what you're taking and what it's doing to your body, etc. But this could look like actually tracking your period, right? Being mindful of when it's coming so you can expect it, giving yourself some more love around your time. I know it sounds crazy, but like when I'm meditating, I like to put my hands down like on my ovaries and just send love to that part of my body, which is also kind of near like your sacral chakra, if we're going back to the chakra conversation. But I'm also really big on tracking my period and just being mindful and giving that part of me like attention, love, care, and energy. So I used to just very much so ignore it and not be, invested in it at all. I wouldn't ever track my period. And this is also for period health. Like, it's so important to track your period to make sure that your cycle is regular, to be mindful of any symptoms that you're experiencing. Like, your period, without going on a side tangent, is so important and to your overall health, especially as a female. And it's an overall, like, your sign of vitality, of youthfulness, of health for females. And so it's really important to make sure that you're actually being mindful of it and paying attention to it. And it really does give you so many signs to what's happening with you in terms of your health internally. So I'm really big on tracking my period, tracking any symptoms that I'm experiencing, and just observing my period so that I will be aware of any signs that my body is trying to tell me if it is trying to do so. So I am really big on that to also help me tap into my femininity and my feminine energy. And I celebrate now when I get my period. I'm proud of my body for what it's doing and right now I'm currently menstruating, which is also another great little thing to add to the equation. So I just feel like now being more appreciative of my cycle, being more mindful, giving it more attention, and being more attentive to it has allowed me to really step even further into my femininity and value my femininity even more, especially because periods are usually looked so down upon in previous times. But having it be something that you celebrate and embrace and know that it's a stand for your femininity has allowed me to look at it in a completely different way and actually empower me as opposed to depower me or something that's kind of hindering me in my day-to-day. So that was my last tip. And so let me go read through just to give you a little bit of a summary. So some ways to help you harness and maximize your feminine energy that you can start doing today. So first thing is letting yourself play, just having fun. Let yourself break out of routine and get out of that work mode to let yourself actually receive and just be. Next thing we have is dance, move your hips, right? Let your creative movement come through. Next, we have anything that allows you to be creative, whether that's painting, drawing, singing, coloring, pottery, anything like that, photography, videography, modeling, right? That's also a really big mode of expression and creativity. Next one is tapping into your intuition and actually letting it guide you. So let yourself listen to your inner knowing and your intuition. That feminine energy is just naturally more tapped into that. So doing what you can to really embodying your intuition, listening and letting it guide you. We have stillness and meditation and just getting present to let yourself just be. We have connecting to your heart center, whether that being through meditation or breath work, and set that intention to keep your open heart space to tap into your heart. Next, we have staying in touch with your emotions. Let yourself actually feel them, express them, and do what feels right? Act out of what your emotions are telling you at sometimes, because sometimes they're just that internal navigation system of what your heart is actually telling you to do. Pampering yourself / looking in ways that makes you feel feminine, right? So whether that's your skincare, doing your hair a certain way, wearing a certain thing, etc. And lastly, being mindful of your monthly cycle and supporting it and helping it and being aware of your monthly cycle. So it really is crazy how much the balance of the feminine energy makes sense, like how much we genuinely need both to live a prosperous, happy, healthy, balanced life in harmony. And I think that's just another thing that makes me trust in life itself and have faith just in simply life itself, because everything is so perfectly designed and we really all do seamlessly complete the whole. And this is just another perfect living example of that. So I hope this helped you guys be a little bit more knowledgeable. I hope it inspired you. I hope it kind of also helped you look at feminine and masculinity kind of in different ways a little bit as well. And so for the affirmation for today, it says, I'm awakening the divine goddess within and am effortlessly embodying my feminine energy every day. I am awakening the divine goddess within and am effortlessly embodying my feminine energy every day. So it's a little bit of a longer one. I have it written in the show notes as well, as always. If you guys did enjoy this episode or learn something or want to just help this podcast reach more people to help impact their lives, I would love it if you guys could screenshot this episode and post it on your Instagram stories. It helps tenfold with getting this podcast to reach more people, and also leaving a rating and review and subscribing also helps these podcast platforms organically push this out to more people. So thank you guys so much for all of your love and support. Again, I hope you really enjoyed this episode. I'm sending you guys so much love. I hope you guys have an amazing week ahead. Thank you so much for watching or listening, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.